Morning, everybody. Genesis chapter 2. I'm going to read 1 through 3. I got amplified. I have a few extra words. And we're going to be talking about rest. So the heavens and the earth were completed, and all their hosts, the inhabitants. And by the seventh day God completed his work which he had done. And he rested, he ceased on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it as his own, that is, set it apart as holy from other days, because in it he rested from all his work which he had created and done. It's a fascinating point. I know we've all had this question asked to us at some point, or heard this question at some point. Was the Sabbath created so that God could rest, or did God create the Sabbath so that we could rest?
Both.
Yeah, I would say both, because we were created in his image, and if he's resting, that should be a clear indication for us.
And he's
well.
our example.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Rabbit trail. I'll take it. Did God have to rest because he was tired?
No, he had completed what he wanted done.
So rest is not necessarily for God that he needed to re-energize or anything like that. He rested because it was complete.
Yeah.
Right. Finished.
So when Jesus died on the cross and he said it is finished, he's sitting at the throne. So he's sitting down, he's resting. The salvation plan was complete. Everything we need is complete. All the prayer promises that we have are complete. We just have to find them out and stand and firm in them and stand with them. So it's just an interesting thing. So let's look at it. The completion of creation. In verse 2:1 it says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in their vast array." So everything was complete. God was done. Now he was done doing his part. But as we'll find out in later verses, he put man that he created in the garden to take care of it, to make it better than what he did, so that we can add our creativity to his creativity. So when we work hand in hand with God and what he's doing, we're making something that he's already got started better, because now we have the Creator's creativity and our creativity that he's given us to accomplish something powerful together. It's a fascinating thing. God's satisfaction in his completed work demonstrates the importance of purposeful completion and fulfillment. God took the time to complete his work, giving us as an example of commitment and excellence in what we do. Whew. How many times have we started and not finished something? How many times have we got involved and quit? How many times have we went through the motions and did just enough and never really quite finished? It's good enough. And we didn't complete the task. We got to the point where we were accepted it, or got to the point where it'd be good enough, or we got to the point of where we're used to being just there, but there's that extra step we could do that this problem, this situation, this task would never affect us ever again. But in our mind, we have a clutter. We have a closet full of everything we throw in the closet to hide from everywhere else, or under the bed in our mind, of all the things that we've not finished. And it weighs us down and we cannot rest. Because we've talked about it before, when we lay our heads down to sleep and rest, our mind's going... Our mind's going to under the closet. Our mind's going to the bed, under the bed, and he's going, okay, here's the 50,000 things you've thrown in here and try to forget about, but we're not completed that, so I can't get rid of it. And we think about all those things. We think about the conversations that we should have or shouldn't have had. We think about what we did or didn't say. the completion of what God wants to do through us. We're continually thinking about that. We know God told us that this is the XYZ He wants for us this day, this year, this month, this ministry. And we think about that, but we put it on the back burner because of all the things we said over the last 2 weeks. Well, I'm not good enough, yada, yada, yada. And all those negative things that we held against ourselves because we don't think we're good enough, that we're useless, that we're worthless, that we talked about last week, which is a lie of the enemy because that's not what God said. And we got to continue to put ourselves in what God says about us and not what anybody else says. Sometimes not even what we say. It's what God says about us. That's why we got to read the Word. That's why we got to know the Word. That's why we got to be around atmospheres that talk the Word. Because if we're praying for something and we're praying God's Word over it, and the person sitting next to us is telling us everything that is contrary to God's Word, and they are just battling. And it depends who gives up first. Who wins? Maybe you're right. Maybe I'll stop praying for that because nothing is happening. Or maybe you're right. I'll just give up and whatever happens, happens. It's a fascinating thing. We often rush through tasks, juggling too many things at once. God's example shows us the value of finishing what we start and taking a moment to appreciate that accomplishment. Tell me if you think this is a lie. Well, I can multitask.
Well, repeat that, please.
Multitask.
I can multitask. Is that a lie, or can you do it?
You can do it.
I know I can. I can barely chew and walk.
Maybe
chew
not.
and walk at the same time. Multitask.
Not at your best.
Yeah.
To multitask.
Yeah, you can, but
We can do it.
yeah, you can, but at a certain point, one task or one other task
Yeah.
might not be completed to its best ability.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't give 100% to 5 different things
At the
Okay.
same time.
All right.
Yeah, at the same time.
So we've done this. We've done this for prayer. We've done this example for other things. I want you to think of a white dog.
A white dog.
White dog. You're thinking of a white dog. Now think of a pink elephant. Do you see the white dog or do you see the pink elephant? Guarantee you see the pink elephant.
Right.
You do not see the white dog no more.
The white dog was fading into pink.
Exactly. See, you cannot focus on two things at once. Something loses. God says you can't have two masters. So you can't have two taskmasters either. So I can only do one thing effective at a time. I can't try to juggle. So if I want to, perfect example. I have a habit of when I make my mind up, I'm going to clean the garage out. Well, I never quite clean the garage out, but I clean one corner out because I put everything in the other corner. So when I go to clean the garage out again, I go, I'm going to clean the garage out. So now I go to another corner and put it back in another corner. So I'm never really focusing on the task, because if I was focusing on the task, when I pick something up and look at it, I was like, okay, that's trash, throw it away. And I'll sit it over here and throw it away later. Okay, this tool should be put over here with the stuff to work on this, so it should go over here in this toolbox. Oh no, I'll put it over here, I'll go later. This task should do this, so you know what? I tell you what I'll do. Instead of focusing on cleaning the room, I'm going to clean this shelf off, but I'm going to take everything off the shelf and make a big mess somewhere else.
Out the door.
And then there's nothing on the shelf, but then over the time I throw everything on the shelf because that's the only place I have, and nothing is still going back where it's supposed to be.
And then by the end of the day, you have a big mess.
I've got a big mess. Now that closet in my mind, that under the bed in my mind is going, I spent 8 hours cleaning the garage, and it is worse now than it was when I started, because now I have this big pile, and now I'm stressed, and I'm burdened, and I have not accomplished a thing.
Then you gotta take it out the door.
Yeah, trash it.
See, you have
You
to,
know, or give it. Or
tasks, you have to have a place for everything. If your kitchen drawer is overflowing, you have too much stuff. You have to take something out and go, is this supposed to be in the kitchen? No, it's supposed to be in the bathroom. Right then and there, take it to the bathroom and go, okay, where's this supposed to go? In the bathroom drawer. The bathroom drawer is full. You got to throw something away out of that bathroom drawer. Or you got to throw this away. Why is everything so cluttered? Because we have so much. We have too much. And the only way to get organized is you have to get rid of stuff. It's the only way. Or your mind's sitting there going, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then it go from that table to this table to that table to this table, and you're just moving your clutter around.
I'm going through that.
That table looks good. The table looks good. I got the table clean. But then I need that table, so I put everything that I put over there plus the stuff I put with it. Now it's back on this table. Instead of, okay, this needs to be, has a home. And that's the only thing that will give us rest. Just as God completed his creation, we were called to work with purpose and integrity. Completing tasks honors God and allows us to take pride in our work reflecting his image. What tasks do you have hiding in your closet? What tasks do you have hiding under your bed that you need to complete? What emotional tasks do we need to complete? Yes?
I was just gonna say, because so I have ADHD, and I saw something online that's like kind of helped me, and I've been starting to declutter. It's called the poop method. If you have something and it had poop on it, would you keep it and wash it, or just throw it away? Do you actually need it? So what in your life has been affected or stained that you need to just get rid of? And it works for everything. Like what in your life has been stained and you just need to toss it out and start fresh. So it's been really helping.
Every area of our life, we have emotional clutter, we have relational clutter, we have job clutter, and we have actual clutter in every room in our house. It's just how well we hide it. But the question is, what are we going to do with that clutter? Are we going to get rid of the clutter? Day one, the earth was void and formless and dark. Are we going to get rid of everything that is void and formless in our life and it's creating a darkness in us and keeping us from resting? Or are we going to just have that table for 5 minutes, then we're going to have that table for 5 minutes, and we're just going to throw this in the corner? And it's a fascinating thing. Here's a couple questions. What does it mean to see our work as complete? What does it mean to you that you're complete? Think about it. What was the last thing you ever totally completed? You may have to think a while.
College.
Huh?
College.
That's thinking a long ways back. But think about it. If we haven't completed it, our mind's going, I have to figure out a way to do this. And at some point in the week, the month, the year, you're going, oh, I forgot to do this now. When am I going to squeeze time in to do it? How am I going to get this done? Oh my goodness. And you thought about, I got Saturday off. I have nothing to do. And your mind goes, oh yeah? I've got Sunday. I can go to church and be peaceful. And your mind goes, oh yeah? What about this person? What about what they said? What about what they did? What about cleaning this out? What about this thing? What about that thing? And we never get to rest. We sleep, kind of, but we do not rest. And that's what God's going to. Here's another question for you to think about. How can we, like God, take moments to pause and appreciate what we have accomplished? What's the last thing you set back and go, this might not have been perfect, but the little bit that I got done is really awesome. See, because if you get an area and keep it organized, it's so much easier to go, I did the small side of my kitchen counter, it looks awesome. It's so much easier when you get up the next day, you don't put nothing there that don't belong there. Everything, you've made a house for everything, and this is the house it lives in. And so when you get ready to put that coffee pot over there that goes with that coffee maker over there, no, that's not the house it lives in. It's easier to do that. So then you can move somewhere else, and it gives you momentum. When we start creating momentum, it gets easier and easier to upkeep because the mind's going, see, you did awesome on that 3-foot counter. It may have took you 24 days, but you got that done. You can do it. And that's what we've got to create. Here's something. Consider how you can approach your work with a sense of completion and fulfillment. How might celebrating small accomplishments, like finishing a project, encourage a sense of a purpose in your daily life? Whew. How would it be? It's like, okay, I'm going to do nothing. I don't. I should have some kind of trash can in my passenger side seat, because at work when we go in and we get our drinks and we get our thing, it just goes there. But the closest system I can get to is every Sunday when I take the trash can out to the road, I always clean out that side of the truck. So as long as someone wants to ride with me on Monday morning, I've got room. Monday afternoon, I do not. But Monday morning, I could. But there's less and less stuff I now have to take out of it, because years and years of buying stuff at the flea market, I always buy stuff more than I can handle. So it's just going in it's staying in the truck because I got nowhere to put it. So the truck is always full. But now I've got a semi-system. There is a bag. It goes in the bag. I can dump the bag. Haven't got there yet, but I have a semi-system. It feels really good Sunday when I go out and there's nothing left in that front seat. And it's so easier when I pick the guy up on Saturday that comes help me once in a while, that it isn't that hard to clean out, instead of having 500 things in there that I've bought that's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with it? I know where the trash goes. So it's a fascinating thing. Here's another point about God's rest. We're going to go off of verse 2. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So at the seventh day, he rested on his work. Matthew 11:28-30 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." When he's talking about a yoke, he's talking about an older ox training a younger ox. The young ox don't want to be in the yoke. The old ox is like, I'm in it. I'm used to it. It's not a big deal. If we work together, it will not hurt either one of us. So the old ox knows what he's doing. So when you put the young ox in the yoke, he's pulling the young ox, and the young ox, this hurts. This don't feel good. So finally he figures, I better step one step faster. And then they start pulling together, and they do not feel any pain, because they're doing it together. That's what Jesus is telling us. Let him carry you with the footprints in the sand. But we look at the footprints in the sand and feel that he's left us. We have to get to the place where we get thrown. No, if we know we're going to get thrown into the fire, we got to be like the Hebrew children and say, nevertheless, I'm going to serve my God. Because we will all have things hit us at moments when we don't need to hit them. And they will pile up and they will pile up. And it seems like we've all had it happen. Everything hits you at once. And it's just a flood of everything. And we have to go, nevertheless, I will serve my God. And it's a fascinating thing. God rested to model for us the importance of intentional, reflective rest. Rest is about pausing to reconnect with God. What? I thought rest was about me sitting in my recliner and closing my eyes and sleeping all day Sunday and not be able to sleep Sunday night and wake up Monday morning tired. I thought rest was about me doing nothing. No. Rest is about intentionally seeking God. The Sabbath, whatever day it chooses to be, we choose it Sunday. The Sabbath is about us intentionally seeking God and being in his presence and being with him and giving him the rest of the week and saying, I've got so much to do, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to focus on you today and let tomorrow and last week and next year and this take care of itself. That's what this rest is about. The rest is staying in the presence of God, giving him what only he can carry and asking him your next step. That's rest. Because if we have the weary and we have the burden and we have that just he says, no. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. I want to give you a day of rest. I don't want you to have to carry that burden anymore. I don't want you to have to be weary anymore. I don't want you to have to be stressed anymore. Give it to me. That's a day of rest. Not watching football, not watching the Hallmark Channel, whatever it is. The day of rest is about seeking God and focusing on him. And yeah, it may be you going out and working your garden. Oh my gosh, no, on a Sunday you can't do that. If that's how you get rest and that's how you commune with God. I don't think God's going to say, no, no, no. Don't you come talk to me. This is Sunday. Don't you go out and do this. Jesus himself said, If your animal fell in a hole, wouldn't you get him out? Are you going to wait till Monday? In our terms, I guess it'd be Sunday for them. You going to wait till the next day? What if he dies? No. Get him out now. Stepping back and to reflect and appreciate the work you've done. Whew. It's a fascinating thing. In today's fast-paced world, rest often feels like a luxury. We constantly feel pressured to stay productive. God's choice to rest demonstrates that stopping to reflect is a valuable and necessary part of a balanced life. There should be a part of a day, a majority part of one day, that you choose to do nothing except focus on God. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to. He didn't want us to work 7 days a week. He did say it's okay to work 6. He didn't choose for us to be burdened and constantly in motion and constantly stressing over, well, I work 6 days a week and I got to get everything else done on Saturday. Or I've got to, it's the only day that all the sports stuff is happening, so I got to get my kids here, my kids there, and this there, and this there, instead of saying, no. Today is the day I focus on God. I will get up. I will come listen to what God has to tell me. I will worship my God. And then the rest of the day, I'm going to rest in His presence. And that's slightly different for all of us. And it's a fascinating thing. When we rest with intention, it renews us physically. When you rest emotionally. See, when I was working at the recycling center, it was physical work. I didn't mind it. But emotionally, all the idiots that would come through, he said he'd give me another dime instead of that. He said he'd give me another penny per pound. This is what this is. No, it's not what that is.
The one here on the corner?
I worked there. Huh. And it was fascinating. I would leave emotionally drained. When I worked in the bookstore, it was no physical whatsoever, but it was emotionally draining. It was just bad. And it was a Christian bookstore. But emotionally, it was just bad. So it was fascinating. When we rest with intention, it renews us physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Jesus' invitation to rest in Him reminds us that true rest is found in trusting God. What? So if I don't trust God, I don't have complete rest? Okay. I'm going to tell you I trust God. But when I'm talking to Aunt Sally and everything's going terrible and this is going to be bad and I know it's going to end in tragedy and I know this, that, and the other, am I trusting God? I don't really know what's going to happen. Or what's going to happen? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Ah, what's going to go? Am I really trusting God? See, to truly rest, we have to get to the place like the Hebrew children said, nevertheless, if you throw me in the fire, I'm still not going to worship you. I am going to serve my God. We got to do like Jesus said. Don't worry. Don't be anxious. That's truly resting. Work on that one, don't we? I guarantee you we're not totally at rest, even though we're doing nothing. My body is physically sitting in the recliner. I'm doing nothing. But I'm not at rest because it's not my Sabbath and I see all the stuff that is just in my room that I could be working on, or that God's asked me to study something, or God's asked me to call someone, or God's asked me to do something, or God's asked me to go somewhere, and I'm not at rest because I'm not saying no, no, no. I'm just saying, I just don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. And then my mind starts going, we should have done this. You should have said that. You think about what you got over here to do. You think about what you got over there to do. Next year, when the new season starts, oh my God, what's going to happen when I get back to work? Oh my gosh, what's going to, and you start to change. My toe kind of feels funny. What's going to happen? I got pains I didn't have before. What? I know my arm's going to fall off because it hurts. I know it's going to happen. They're going to have to cut it off. Oh my God, I know I got something really bad happening. No rest. God, your word says this. I am going to stand on that word. But nevertheless, enemy may win a battle, but he ain't going to win the war. Invitation to rest in Him reminds us that true rest is found in trusting God, not just in stepping away from tasks. We got to-do lists. We may not write it out, but it's up here in that closet. It's up here under the bed. The to-do list, it's right on the door. The whole world sees it. They see your to-do list. Because in certain ways you tell them what your to-do list is. And then in certain ways, they hear you talking about all this you got to do. And then the next time they hear you talking about all this to do. And then they're going, well, you didn't do nothing of your to-do list, so no wonder you still have more to do. And it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. Instead of resting in Him. It's a fascinating thing. We add to the pile. It's a fascinating thing. Why do you think God paused to rest even though He didn't need physical rest? Think about that. Our bodies were created to recreate itself forever until they took the fruit of the tree they wasn't supposed to. And then it started decaying and falling down and dying. So when God created us, He created us to work in perfect harmony with Him, to never need rest, because we would always be working in a state of rest. We had this conversation a long time. Would you rather have a miracle or would you rather have a blessing? I want to live in a blessed state, because a miracle is a one-time, oh my God, it's got to happen, or something bad. A blessed state is, I am always getting what I need because God's taking care of me. A miracle, God sends, well, if I don't give it to you now, your last breath, your last dollar, your last, boom, here's a miracle. But a state of blessing, I would rather live in a state of blessed health than have to go through life hoping a miracle happens. That's what God wants. He says, be blessed. Do you tell yourself you're blessed in the morning? Do you bless yourself over every area of your life? That bank account that has a red $5 on it, are you telling God, I know my bank account's blessed. I know you provide all my needs. I know you love me. I know you will take care of me. And you got negative in your bank account. But are you pronouncing blessing or are you pronouncing curse? Man, payday until next week. I'm at 10 cents. I don't know how I'm going to eat. I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I don't know how I'm going to pay for that. I hope my car don't have. I hope. What did God say? My people will not go hungry. They will always have bread. My people have abundance and overflowing so they can bless other people in time of need. But we don't rest because we don't say what God says about us. We say what the enemy's saying about us. You're broke, busted, and disgusted. And we agree with them. You know, you're right, I am broke. Yeah, I'm busted. I have this hurt pain, this heart pain, this problem, and this problem, and this problem. Emotionally, I'm hurting here. And I am disgusted because I should know I should be doing better. I know I should be doing this. I know I should have this. I know that list on that closet door is telling me I need to do this. I know I got home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I know I could do 5 minutes. I know I can, but I sat in my recliner and I just went, oh God. And we get overwhelmed and do nothing. It's a fascinating thing. Take a few moments this week to rest with purpose. Rather than just taking a break, pause to thank God for what He's done in your life. See, yesterday morning I woke up and my dog had died. And throughout the whole day, there was a moment of, that'll never happen. She'll never greet me at the door again. And all those, the last times. It was the last time I saw her live. It's the last time I seen her. All the lasts. And this morning I wake up, now it's a whole new version. All the firsts. It was the first morning I woke up, she wasn't there. All the firsts. All the pain, all the hurt, and all the scars. But nevertheless, I will serve my God. See, she'd been sick for a couple months. And she was getting better. I would literally lay hands on her and her tumors would disappear. It was happening. And she was getting better. But when she would leave my house, you know she's going to die. So there was a spiritual warfare happening. I was laying in the bed and I was going. And God goes to me, do you trust me? I said, yeah, I do. He said, give her to me. I said, okay, Lord. I know you love her as much as you love me because you love me. So, and I know you love me, so you love her. And I gave her to him. I said, whatever it is, it is. I didn't expect her to die. I was like, cool, God's going to finally totally heal her, and it's going to be good. Well, that night I had a dream of a big white light coming down from the ceiling, the sky, whatever it was. And I woke up. And I was kind of disturbed when I woke up because I was like, man, I wish I would have seen the totality of it, because I knew that was probably Jesus coming down, either to see me, visit me, whatever. And I woke up. I was kind of mad I woke up. Well, when I did wake up, I looked down and she's on her little pillow. She was as peaceful as I've seen her in a long time, if ever. And I was like, I don't think she's moving. Because she was breathing hard, because her cycle was done. And she knew it. Because she didn't want nothing to do with me that day. And that's usually what dogs do. They love you enough to try to get away from you and go die somewhere else. So that at least you don't know they've died. You think maybe they'll come back and have a little hope. But dogs are pretty smart. And it was interesting because she was eating all day and she was drinking all day. And usually that's one of the signs they'll stop doing that. But I noticed when we went to bed, she didn't want nothing to eat. I was like, uh-oh. And so she was laying there peaceful. And I called her name a few times and she didn't move. And I reached down and she was cold. And I was like, you just passed away recently, because she was still flexible. So, and she was room temperature. She wasn't stiff or anything yet. And I was like, man. So all the emotions yesterday, all the emotions today hit you. And they're going to hit me for a while, I know. But throughout the day and throughout this morning, especially coming here when I was praying with God and having a good time with God, he was like, nevertheless. And I thanked him for the time I did have. That's probably the last dog that will be born on the property, because all the other dogs are fixed now. Got the other 3. She's got her 2. I still have mine, but it's the last one that will be born on the property, that will be kind of like yours. You didn't have to have someone give you something. You didn't have to go find it. It was like, born there, raised there, yours. You kept that one. Every moment of every day, somehow we have to say, God, take this. It's not a burden I can't handle, but at times it feels like it. God, I need you to take this. This is too much. And we start to get a little peace, and then something will trigger. There is tasks that do that. There's emotions that do that. There are circumstances that do that in your life. That we've got to go, I need rest, Lord. Take this. It is too much of a burden. But God tells us, you can handle anything I give you, because I'm not going to give you no more than you can handle. Well, God, you think too much of me, because there's times I know you've given me more than I can handle. And he goes, no, I haven't. You can take it. And because you take it, you'll be able to help someone else. It's a fascinating thing. Genesis 2:3 says, Then the Lord blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work that he created and done. Hebrews 4:9 and 10 says, There remains then a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their work, just as God did from his. We can go at whatever our job is or whatever our task is, or we can work over 7 days in a row and may be effective, but there is a break point. You are accomplishing something, but you're not as effective as you would be if you just had a day and says, enough. I can't work 24/7 because there's a time limit. I know when I'm doing resets at work, my body starts shutting down about 2 o'clock. If we go past 2 o'clock, I've got to work at working. From 6 a.m. till 2 o'clock, I don't need a break. I don't want a break because the breaks mess me up, because I got to take a half hour, then I got to start over, and then I got to do it at lunch. Now I got to take another half hour. This going for 2 hours, stopping and starting just is crazy. But legally, they make us do it now because someone was an idiot and fussed and complained. So now that we're punished instead of working through and getting paid for it at the end of the day. And at 2 o'clock, my body goes, we should be going home. And I'm looking and going, sorry, body, we may have another 2 or 3 hours left, or this, that, or the other. We'll just keep moving. And we just keep moving. And at some point, your body feels that. Emotionally, you feel that. Physically, you feel that. You have to rest. And resting is more than sitting in the recliner and sleeping and getting a couple hours of sleep. Resting is giving everything to God and saying, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to think about it. That's your job. My job's to listen to you. And when you say, okay, do this, okay. Okay, do this, okay. My job is to repeat what you said to say. Not what the enemy, not what me, not what circumstances says, but what you say. I'm reading a book now about blessing. That we've lost the art of blessing our children. We've lost the art of blessing other people, as the people did in the Old Testament. When someone knew they were about to go, the Old Testament patriarchs, bring the grandkids, bring the kids. And they blessed them, laid hands on them, and pronounced a blessing. Power of life and death is in their tongue. When was the last time you verbally blessed someone? Spoke life and not death into their situation. Told them that they're awesome. Told them that they're going to do good.
Is saying have a blessed week the same thing?
What does it mean? Telling me I have a blessed week, I'm like, yeah, that don't mean nothing to me.
Oh, okay.
Telling me because you know me.
Yeah.
Something that will be striking and awesome to me. Telling me that you're doing an awesome job at this, that you're doing an awesome job at that this future blessing is coming upon you because you have the work, you have God within you. Telling Mary she's an awesome teacher. She's doing a great job with those kids, and that she's going to impact those kids, and those kids are going to grow up to remember her forever because of what she's doing for God. At her job, at her home, at this church. That's blessing someone. Pronouncing into their life what God already knows about them, but you listen and the Holy Spirit says, this is what God says about that person. That's blessing. Everybody in the world, have a nice day. You sneeze, God bless you. Whatever. See, we got to the point where everything has become nothing because we do it all the time. We've lost the meanings. We lost the meaning of the word love because I love my pizza, I love my car, I love my job, I love my this, I love my... yeah, it's fine. But you've lost the true meaning of what the word love is. There's a lot of words that the media and the world has taken and redefined it, and we lost the meaning of the word. It's a fascinating thing. God blessed the seventh day and set it apart, showing that rest is not only important, but sacred. Sacred. Sabbath. Sacred. But my kids can only do this on this day. Then it's not sacred to you. Be blunt. It's not sacred to you. Because if it was sacred to you, nothing, no one, nada would get in the way of that being what that's designed to do. That's just a blunt fact of what God says. How many people that around the world that attend church once in a while have an excuse, and that's what it is, It's not sacred to them to go on Sunday and worship God. It's not sacred to them enough to say, man, it's going to have a 60-degree day tomorrow, and it's Sunday, and it's middle of February, so it's just nice enough to go to the beach. And I think that the beach becomes more sacred to them, even though they don't think that way, they don't say that way. That's what their action says. Because sacred means when God says not to do something and your friend goes, come on, everybody's doing it. This is sacred to me. I cannot do that. I will not do that. But we compromise. We give in. See, there's going to be things that are sacred to you that aren't sacred to me, and you're going to get mad that I'm doing it and you can't, or I can and you can't, and it's all the way it is. But when someone says, that's just my conviction and I won't do it, that's fine. I got no problem with that. But if it's not Scripture, and it's God talking to you, or you talking to you, you can't put that on me. If God says it and you can prove it to me and say, hey, no, right here it says you can't do this, then I've got to change. Then it's got to be sacred to me. God blessed the seventh day and set it apart, showing the rest is not only important but sacred. The seventh day was made holy as a time dedicated to spiritual renewal and deeper connection with God. Not a Sabbath, just going to church and listening to someone for an hour and then listening for someone else for an hour and then going, hey, I love you, God, and then you leave it. No, that's not the Sabbath. And if that's the attitude we come with, we're in a bad spot to begin with. I think a majority of people come to church to try to get something from God instead of trying to give God their love. And if we change our thought processes and going, you know what? I'm going to give you everything I have and I'm going to love you and worship you the best I can. I'm going to worship you in my finances. I'm going to worship you with my life. I'm going to worship you with listening and attentively trying to apply some of the things I hear because you're the one saying that through them. It's fascinating. See, I'm at rest doing this. I'm resting right now. This is so easy and so simple to say, Holy Spirit, say what you want to say, how you want to say it, and if it makes them mad, then you got to work with them, not me. That's rest. Because I'm called to do it. But other people that are doing it because they need someone to do it, it's a burden. It's torture. If you're out of your place of calling, it is too much like work. And if you're working at serving God, you're not where you need to be. It should renew you. Yes, I get tired. Yes, it's draining. Yes, it's this. When I leave here, I want the nap not because it's Sunday. I want the nap because I've given everything I possibly can give. I said, God, use it all to the last breath. Use it all. But I can't wait to do it again. God, what do we need to study this week to find out? What are we getting into? What are we going to do? I'll go home. I'll know what I'm going to talk about next Sunday, this afternoon. And then I just think about it all week. That's rest to me. Because I get to spend it in the presence of God. Now, if I tried to help you downstairs with the little brats, no, that's not rest to me. That's right. I would know. I would be the one now deciding, you know what, it's a good idea to go to the beach on Sunday because I'm not doing that. God, you know, it's okay for me to go to the beach with you and worship you on the sand of the beach because you're in nature and I can come up with all the excuses to do it. But this is rest. See, I've always said, where's the two places? Something you hate and you want to get rid of, or something you love and you just can't not do it. That's where the fascinating part is. God blessed the seventh day. It was made holy as a time of dedication, spiritual renewal, and deep connection with God. When was the last time you knew God spoke to you? When was the last time you know God said something? When you know God encouraged you? When you know God lifted you up? When you know God got you through? When was the last time that happened? And for anyone, I've never heard the audible voice. But I know he spoke to me. I've heard him in the inner gut, in the spirit. He's speaking to me always. I don't always listen, but I know he's always there. When's the last time you picked this book up and read a verse, a word, and go, that's fascinating. I never thought about that. And the Holy Spirit's speaking to you, and you're just going, I never saw that before. No, God's speaking to you when you read this book. All you have to do is listen. I don't go on rabbit trails. I go on conversations with God that I call rabbit trails so that we can relate. I go on conversations with God. I think I'm studying A, and he's like, we're going over here. And we go, let's chase that rabbit. And me and God are talking about something totally contrary that has nothing to do with anything that I'm going to say to anybody. But he knows I need it. And he knows you might need it 3 weeks from now. And he's like, Holy Spirit's up here in a little computer punching buttons. Remember when we went on that little trail? Yeah. Say it now. Okay. It's a fascinating thing. Oh, I got so much more we go. Where do I want to go? Let's do the application thing here, and then we got to go. And if I remember, I'll send this to y'all through text, because the text seems to be working. So phone numbers that I don't have. Email, I can't figure it out. So think about a way you can set apart a holy time each week for rest and connection with God. Whether through prayer, worship, quiet reflection, make this time a priority. Treating it as sacred. Pause to refresh your soul. Sabbath. God gave us a day, but you need to be giving yourself a Sabbath moment every day. You need to have a Sabbath morning, a Sabbath afternoon, a Sabbath evening, but you need a Sabbath every day to recenter yourself on God. And it can be little moments throughout the day. Life could start smacking you around and you go, all right, everybody stop. Everybody, I need you all out of this room. I need 5 minutes. God, recenter me on you. The stress is too much. I need you to carry me for a little while. And go back and doing what you were doing. But you may have to do it multiple times throughout the day. But you should have an appointment. God should be in your book every day at 6 o'clock at night, from 6 to 6:15, 6:30, 7, 6:05, whatever it is. He's in the garden waiting for you. Does he have to go, Ivan, where are you? Or does he come around the corner of the big oak tree and go, hey! Let's have a talk. What do you want to talk about? Or sometimes he goes, this is what I want to talk about. But he's a great listener. I'm not. But he is. Sometimes he don't get a word in edgewise. And that's not healthy in a relationship. But that's what he knew I needed. And he don't say nothing. He'll be like, it's 6:05. You said I'd be here from 6 to 6:05. And he'd stay till midnight if I kept talking to him. But at 6:05 he goes, it's 6:05. If you need me to go, I will. No, let's keep talking. See, that's what I used to do on Wednesday nights. That's what I do when we had Bible studies on Wednesday nights. It stopped at 8. But if God needed you to talk to me forever, I'd be there. I'd rely on him to give me the strength to get through work next day without the lack of sleep. I would rely on that. And he's never let me down. So it's a fascinating thing. Not only are we designed for the Sabbath, but consider that conversation, the blessing over someone. We're supposed to help them carry their burdens. Can you offer a moment of Sabbath, a 30-second moment of Sabbath for someone throughout the week by sharing them God, whether you ever say his name or not? Because you see a burden, you see stress. How you doing? I'm fine. No, you're not. I see it in your eyes. Tell me. Because God brought me here today to speak to you. Wouldn't that change the way we go through life? Wouldn't that change all our interactions? You're not here by accident. You're here because God needed you here this morning to hear something. I'm here because He knew I'd crazy enough to say whatever I said. I don't know. I'll watch this and go, that was good. Or I'll watch it and I don't remember saying that. It's fascinating to me what He does. But if we did that every moment of every day, I get to go sit in that building and let Him speak to someone. And He usually even tells me once in a while to say something specific to people, and I'll go, okay. Don't have me go in there and just go, hey everybody, how you doing? That's Jane's job. I'm going to sit in my spot and go, all right, Lord, I know you're going to be here. I know you're going to bless us. I know we're going to have a great day. Let's go. And we got to go.